when you are not ready to take up the responsibility that attached to be the man of the house, then there is no point gallivanting around claiming to be the man of the house. If the woman contributes 80% to the finances of the home and the man contributes 20, so he has to match up the 20% he is contributing with other things, probably managing the home, helping with some chores, helping with the kids, being available for the children. My name is Ayooluwa. I happen to come from a very humble background, as it were, and so I could relate to some of the stories with poverty, people who are actually poverty inclined, and gender roles. As much as cliche as it sounds, there are dangers of traditional gender roles that have been inflicted on the mind of people, especially from the viewpoint of ladies. I can relate to a story of a man in our neighborhood who is a civil servant and earns like 65K a month,
Mhm.
who gave birth to more than six children, while the wife does not really have a team job, something she can call a job. What she does is a petty trading, and growing with with those kind of children around, my eyes was open to a lot of things that poverty can cause. And so it happened that the firstborn of the man is a very close friend of mine. And as when we were supposed to go to school, the father could not afford the same school like I could afford, that my parents could afford, because there were four at that time. And the father was a civil servant. He doesn't really have much. But then he kept on giving birth just because he wanted a girl child. Yeah. So he gave her to five boys and one girl. And the last one was happened to be the last girl. And so their education was nothing to write home about. The only divine education I could say they have was a secondary school education. And it is not as standard as a secondary school education should be. So they just try to manage themselves, get out of secondary school, and start to figure out their lives by themselves. And right now, I still get to talk with the firstborn. He's currently all into all these online this online business that is not really his, but he's just trying to find his footing just to survive. Try to do any work, like any work, just to survive. And same as the siblings too do not have a right footing to where they want to go. So they're just living the day as it comes, just to survive, fend for themselves, and move on with their lives. So the decision of their father to give them birth when he had no financial resources to cater for them is one major reason for the kind of lives they are experiencing now. And to crown the story, the father is negligent of the fact that he was the reason for all the costs, because he continued to complain that they were irresponsible despite all he has done for them. He sent them to secondary school and all of that, that they should pick up their lives by themselves. He didn't know that at one point he has actually marred the growth of these children, because the time he was supposed to invest well in their education, there were many. So he could not focus on just one person. So he had to share the little salary he has on all of these children. And when the outcome comes, none of them really had a standard education as well. So like the first to third born now, they are adults, the three are not adults yet. They are just living the lives by themselves. But the man keeps complaining that they are irresponsible, they don't know what to do with their lives, whereas we do not give them the right foundation we are supposed to give them. they only struggle to them to secondary school. One of the, I think the third one had to go and learn furniture by himself. The second born is trying to figure his way into tertiary institution, probably a poly, just to make a meaning out of his life. Why the other brother does not have a choice than to up in on the next available job that he has with no divine destination. And it's very saddening. And yeah, so that.
I think what you're talking about is more about family planning, not gender roles. But I would also love you to explain, maybe I'm getting it from the wrong angle. How does the story align with gender role?
Okay, so how it aligns with gender roles is that the reason why the wife could not work was because the man feels like if the woman works, he will not be able to cater for the children. So more like the woman is being domesticated. So she's just a baby making machine, and every AK market stage, he impregnates her and she gives birth. So there is that's why I said he out just to distract herself, she just goes on to do some petty trades that will not take her from the family, from the household. So anything she wants to do must be within the vicinity of the home. So she's a domesticated wife. She's not really educated, but then if she was given more opportunities, probably try a business, support her in a business, she could actually thrive. Because for one, she is not someone that is lazy, and she's someone that is very smart. But because the man being unreasonable, that's the word, feels like he needs the wife at home. So when he comes back from work, he needs his food on the table. He needs one met, and he does not care about how the woman feels about it.
Hmm.
So the woman is just there being domesticated, and she has next to no say into the affairs of the home. I feel like, or I believe that before marriage, before you enter into a marriage with a man, you should have what you do by yourself. You should have what you can fall back on before marriage. So you should be engaged into something profitable before marriage. So when a man says that you have something to do before marriage, it will be very difficult for him to tell you to discontinue with the marriage. But if you really do not have anything you are doing before you got married, and there are no signals that there is something you want to fall back on anytime soon, then that could happen. But when you have something you are doing at the moment, it will be very next to hard for the man to just tell you that, okay, so you have to stop all of this. And even if he had to say that, you will have discussed it in the courtship or the relationship that, okay, so how are we going to do? How are you going to go about this relationship? Am I going to be working? I have my dreams, I have my aspirations. So you have to communicate it to your partner first, and not just ride on the fact that yeah, the man should be the provider of the house, no doubt. But then you have something you are doing by yourself, because peradventure when you get married and you have the first, second kids, the man dies. Where are you going to fall back to? Because you do not have any job, you do not have any experience, you know how you have any idea of how to start a business, but then the person who finances the home is dead, and you need to take up the responsibility. So it is going to be a downward spiral, and it is going to affect a lot of things. And so that's the first thing. Before you go into marriage, discuss, communicate it with your partner. Okay, this is what I want to do. And if you have nothing doing before marriage, how might that I'm going to this marriage not to be a full housewife. If I can't get anything to do while I am single in marriage, I would need your help and support to do something with my life. And if the man does take it wrongly, then that should be a signal that okay, so this is not the person I should take on this life adventure with. So that is a red flag, because any man you should want to marry should be able to direct help you to achieve your dreams and aspirations. So when you discuss that and you feel like a bad energy from the guy, then you should know that okay, so this is not going to work. So my advice to ladies is that they should don't deceive themselves or live under the delusion that so far love is there, everything is going to work out. Yeah, in marriage, love should be there, but then there are a lot of things that you have to put into place and you have to put into consideration before the marriage works. Love should be paramount, but it's not the only thing that you're going to make the marriage work. Because even if he's working and he's taking on all those responsibilities well, and you really do not have to contribute, life can happen. He could lose his job, the business can go bankrupt, anything can happen. His shop might get burnt, and in the token of a high, it will go from 80 to 20, and you guys will go from above average to below average. So in marriages and in life planning, you should be able to cater for unforeseen circumstances. So that's why, as a woman, you should have something you are doing by the side, even if it will not have to interfere with your marriage. At least don't be idle. And when you do that, there is a respect that accords to you. When you also know that okay, so my wife is not a lazy person, my wife is not indolent. If anything happens, you have the best of advice to give him. If it's a business problem, you can offer him something, not just stay at home all day, cook, raise kids. Even though those are your roles, but you have to be extra. You don't have to stay within the jurisdiction of those roles. You have to bring more to him. So I feel like with this, women should be intentional about themselves, about their finances, about their dreams and goals, and not just make it dependent on a man, whether a boyfriend or a husband.
Why a woman works hard as much as a man to provide financially for the family, she's also expected to take care of the home. Do you think men should be more considerate when it comes to contributing to the domestic aspect of the home as well?
There are two sides to the story. So if you are married and you are working, if you know that what you are doing does not contribute solely to the finances of the home, to the running of the home, then there has to be a balance. So as a man, he goes out to work. The smooth running of the home is dependent on his earnings. So that means that he has to focus mainly on that. And as a woman, you know that what you get from the work you're doing is just like a supportive, like you're just supporting the finances of the home. It's not solely what the home relies on. Then there is a place of moderation. So when that's the case, then you have to be wise with how you do it. So when you go to work, you make sure the work you are doing, the business you are doing, does not totally take you away from home. So while you're trying to do the business, trying to work, it does not override your primary responsibility as a wife. So even though you do the work, you bring home, you are supporting the man. So if he brings 80, you are giving 20. So since you are giving 20, there are certain things that you have to do to match up with the 20 you are giving. Did you understand that?
Yeah,
Okay, so
so
let's say the man works in a bank, and so the bank runs from 8 in the morning to 4 or 3, and so that is where the funding for the house comes from. And as a woman, um, you own a business, so when you leave in the morning, you can't expect to come home by 5 when your husband is already home. When what you are doing does not really contribute to the finances of the home, that would be like a disadvantage for the man because what you are doing does not in any way contribute. Probably, let's say it does not in any way contribute less to the running of the home. Okay, so as a wife, you have to be aware of your primary roles as a wife and how you can match up helping your husband out. And for men who want their wife to um, share their share the views or the expenses of the home, the entire relies to their decision. I can't really say anything about that. So if the other one decide, okay, so if they both decide that, okay, so we're going to contribute 50-50 to the expenses of the home, then both of them need to work as much as they can to get the 50-50. So there won't be any expectation from anywhere.
If things were flipped and the woman was the sole provider for the home, do you expect the man to also comply to the things you listed that the woman should be doing?
I'm of the opinion that there are gender roles and there are compromises. So from Eden, a man is the provider of the home. And so if peradventure your wife's job brings the more money than yours, probably at the moment, then you have to fit into that role of managing the house at the discretion of you both, of both couples. So if the woman contributes 80% to the finances of the home and the man contributes 20. So he has to match up the 20% he's contributing with other things, probably managing the home, helping with some chores, helping with the kids, being available for the children for the meantime, if that's the case. But then I know that there are some traditional beliefs that even if your wife is the financier of the home, there are some things you don't do. That's just been very wicked and unreasonable. Because how would you expect someone that works a hard horse every day to bring money to the families and still expect her to perform maximally into our primary duty as a wife? That's like stressing and over expanding, and that's very wrong, in my opinion. So if the woman brings more money to the house, it is commonsensical that the man should help in other ways for the smooth running of the home. And since it's a joint affair, it's a love affair, there won't be resentment, there won't be entitlements. Because for crying out loud, we are running this home together. We are in this relationship together. No one is trying to be a good person. No one is trying to overdo the other. We are doing everything for the collective promotion of the home. So aside that, if there are any other side comments or anything, I think the primary purpose of that marriage is being forfeited, because I think marriage is between two people who are ready to work hand in hand to make the relationship and the marriage work. So if that will make your marriage work at that time, then you have to succumb to that assignment and do it maximally. Being a man of the house has a responsibility attached to it. So when you are not ready to take up the responsibility that attached to being a man of the house, then there is no point gallivanting around claiming to be the man of the house. If your wife is the one taking responsibility of the man of the house, then as a man, you do not have the right to, in whatever way, claim or try to defend an ego just to feel good and say you are the man of the house. I believe that men might, there are times you have your downsides, no doubt. And that is the place of your woman coming to help you. But now neglecting the responsibility that comes with the man of the house to the woman and still trying to claim being the man of the house, then that's just being unreasonable. I also believe that our society has in a way made a man feel like if he's not providing, then he's not a man. And so he's trying to he's in all his mind he's trying to work towards being a man by providing. So he would go to the end of the earth to do anything just to make himself feel good. And I feel that's the danger of societal structures. there are some structures in our society that you do not have any business trying to prove, because it will just lead to your downfall and detriment. As a man, I am not saying you should not provide at all, but do not make provision the only thing that you can offer. That, okay, so if you're not providing, then your manhood is at stake. No, it shouldn't. So trying to um, trying to impress the society, trying ways to make yourself feel good because of the feedbacks you get from society because you're providing, would just in turn make you feel less of yourself if you're not doing it. So if you do not care about what the society says about you, if you do not give a fuck about what anyone's opinion about providing is, you will have less pressure and you will even enjoy your lives better. Because I feel like the reason why men die is because die early is because they do not want to be helped. And so they shoulder all the pressures and responsibility that they were supposed to share. So if as a man, all you are doing is to prove your point, to prove a point, then what is the essence of your living? That means you're just living to prove a point. So when you need help, seek for help. When you need to shoulder when you need to drop a responsibility, do it. Be vulnerable. Don't be all masculine to the extent that you do things at the detriment of your health and even your mental health. Because there are a lot of stories that I have heard from people trying to trying ways to provide for their homes by doing the deadliest and the most on like very insane things just to prove a point. And like, what is the reason for all of this? This is something that you can actually sit down with your wife. If you believe that she's worth the position of being a wife, to have a genuine communication or conversation about what you're passing through and how both of you can actually go through it together. And I think that's the main reason for marriage. The main reason for a marriage is partnership. You are not the one doing it alone. So when things are tough, since things are not the way it should go, then it's not even only when things are not going through. You should always be with communication with your wife. We Anytime you are doing anything. And I think that would lessen the burden and the expectation of you. And personally, I'm a kind of person that I do not live for people's expectation. I do not care what you say about me. If what I am doing is convenient and it is the best for me, I do not care about the societal construct. The man must be a provider. I know I'm going to provide for now for my family, but if I cannot do that for now, that does not question my manhood. No, and I will not allow any societal construct to make me feel less of a man because I cannot provide yet.